The Sims 4 just released over 50 community hotfixes in the latest update on Tuesday, December 2nd. And you better believe we are about to jump right in. Welcome back to the Cozy Cutie Club. I'm Christy. I like to post Sims 4 gameplay, challenges, and tips. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe and like the video. It supports me a ton. Quick note before we jump into the video, normally when we get a large update like this, a lot of mods and or CC will break. So if you need any help figuring out how to find or fix broken Sims 4 mods, I have a video up on this. I will link it somewhere on the screen at this time. Now let's get into the video. You might remember the first round of community fixes. This was in the last update on November 4th. That was the first time that the Sims team started doing these laundry list updates, and they did over 150 community fixes in that first round. This time around, there is way less, but they state in their post that this is because the bugs are becoming more complex to fix. In this video, we're going to go through the blog post, look at some key details in the beginning, and then we'll get into the fixes. We'll try and cover as many fixes as we can. There are over 50 of them, so I don't want this video to get too long, and so we might just skip over a few. But the laundry list blog post will be linked in the description of this video in case you want to check it out for yourself. So first off, not very important, but they did state that they want to give this series a new name. I guess laundry list is not very sexy, and I kind of agree, but I don't have any suggestions. If you have any that you want to share with the Sims team, feel free to join their Discord and share your feedback. So they reiterate that they are remaining committed to resolving community concerns, very PR of them. They also state that many of the remaining top community concerns are trickier to fix as they're deeply connected to other game systems and will take more time to solve safely. So that's why they're claiming that we are seeing fewer fixes, but they should have bigger impact and create a more stable game overall. They also mentioned that there are a lot of community concerns around careers, and they're investigating more into that. They also give us a sneak peek for the next batch of fixes, which should be early 2026. That to me is a very wide range of a deadline, because when we got the November 4th update, they stated that the next round would be in December, which I think is much more clear cut. They also mentioned, for those of you who are having save file issues, that they are separating the ongoing investigation into save file issues from this because it's more in depth. And there is a link here in case you want to check that out. It's also very interesting because in the November 4th update, they had the fixes in order of votes, but it seems like that is not specified here, so I don't know if they just forgot to mention it or if that's not the case for this blog post. The top 5 most voted fixes. Okay, here we go. Child, teen, young adult, and elder Sims will once again no longer have clothing visible under their privacy mosaic. However, the cause of the issue is different for other ages, and we're still investigating those instances to hopefully fix in an upcoming update. I did not notice this. I saw a post about this on social media. I was like, what's the difference? I did not realize. Sims are now able to travel between world lots without the season screen popping up. Male gallery Sims will no longer have high-pitched voices. Their correct voice tone will be used. This fix is not retroactive and will only affect future saves going forward. It's very interesting to see that this is a love struck issue. We fixed an instance of save corruption that was resulting in error code that a Sim was dead, a ghost, and min LOD not actively engaged by the player, which was causing some code around small business careers to crash the game on load. We made it so that if a Sim is referenced in the situation, the game will not crash when trying to. I don't know what does this mean? Do you guys understand what this means? Because I don't. I understand that it's related to an error code, but that's about then you lost me. Then you lost me. In this save, a Sim was dead, a ghost, and min LOD. Which would, what is that? What is that? What? I feel like you guys are going to comment and you're going to be like, duh, this is LOD, or duh, this is what it means. And then I'm like, oh, silly. Silly me. Made progress on children being taken away despite not being neglected. More investigation is required before we mark this one as fully resolved. It's nice to see that they are not just checking it off and they are being very transparent about the fact that this is not completely resolved. That's pretty freaking wild. All right, now we're moving on to base game. The Nature Soundscapes radio station will no longer wake up Sims when they listen to it while sleeping. That is very cool. I did not know that you could listen to the nature soundscapes, or that the goal was to listen to nature soundscapes while you're sleeping, kind of like we do in real life when we listen to like rain and stuff to go to sleep. Teens will retain their active inspiration so long as it is not a teen specific aspiration when they age up into a young adult. Well, that's nice. We rebalanced the mental fog moodlet to appear after 3 to 4 days of running the work hard career tone. It used to appear after 1 to 2 days. Oh, this is good. This is good. Yeah, 1 to 2 days is not enough, Sims team. The armed living chair had a duplicate color swatch. We didn't want to remove a swatch because that might break existing builds, so we decided to change one of those swatches to be a new variant. When choosing what color to go with, the artist thought this piece of furniture might nicely match some of the Enchanted by Nature furniture and style, but it felt odd to add just one swatch, so we added an additional 2 other variants, but then realized the armed living chair was part of a set. We probably wanted those 3 new variants to match other pieces of furniture from base game. Takes a breath. Typo! Again with the typos. So in total, there are at total of 27 new free swatches, 9 objects with 3 new variants each. Here's a list of the updated furniture. I cannot picture the armed living chair to save my life. I really appreciate that they thought about the way this would work since it is part of a set, and it is nice that they went ahead and gave us more swatches than we needed. The main menu will no longer show www when there isn't an active household to play on the main menu. Oh my god, this literally was just happening to me for the first time like yesterday. That is funny. I thought that was user error, and now I'm like, wow, that's actually a bug. That makes me think, like, how many bugs are actually bugs and not user error that I think are user error. Sims without the Horse Ranch expansion were able to get a fear of horses, but this can no longer happen. I'm dead. The amount of fixes that I have seen so far between the last update and this update related to Sims being able to experience things from packs that they do not have blows my mind. Good and evil Sims will no longer mourn excessively at gravestones. That's kind of silly. Why was that even an issue? And now we're moving on to Adventure Awaits. We partially addressed this forum thread with a significant fix. Pre-made custom venues will now display and execute their pre-made schedules in the release mode version of the game. This means when you load into a pre-made custom venue, you will now see the proper schedules and gameplay. This was previously only working on our internal builds due to some code that needed to be changed. Literally just sounds code for somebody dropped the ball. Like, what? CF Top EP20 pullover layered is now tagged as a masculine style choice option. Okay. The fact that somebody really missed that. All Adventure Awaits toddlers and child hairstyles are not visible if you remove the masculine feminine style choice filters. That's kind of frustrating. Imagine you're in casting, you don't have masculine and feminine style choice filters on, and then you can't see these hairstyles. Like, how freaking, that would drive me insane. The Grand's flannel curtain rods were using a different shade than the curtain set, but we've updated them to use the same shader. This was done on purpose since curtains and solid objects use different shaders, but in this case, it caused a difference in some lighting scenarios, which made the objects look like they were different colors. Why does this happen? Police Curve was missing fashion choice tags. Why? Why are so many things messed up with filters and tags? What the heck is that? Like, come on. Now we're moving on to Autumn Apparel, which only has 1. Fingernails will no longer clip through the gloves leather asset. Again, something like this is like, did you guys not do some QC before this was released? Like, how did nobody test nails with gloves before releasing this? Business and hobbies. The stucco top stucco now extends fully to the floor when applied. We added a missing purple variant color swatch to 8 doors and windows. How does that happen? Stuff like this is so upsetting because it's like, I understand that things are going to fall through the cracks. Nobody's perfect. Even in huge companies, mistakes are always going to be made. It just feels like quality assurance could be greatly improved. How does a mistake like this happen? And it's not something that like, oh my god, this is so annoying for gameplay, but it's just like, how did so many people miss this is my question. game. And then it makes me think, are the teams large enough? Are the teams having a realistic workload? Because honestly, that's when a lot of mistakes happen, is when you're understaffed and overworked. Anyways, that's just my little spiel, but let's move on. Cats and dogs. We added timing restriction on how often a pet can explore the poohoo bush to every 3 days. Doing this causes them to get sick and was previously happening too frequently. Yay! This is great. I know that there is a lot of frustration around pets getting sick so often, and literally all the simmers have to stock up on wellness treats because it's too annoying to like go to the vet constantly. So that's really nice. Now we're moving on to city living. Sims in the social media career will now automatically meet their coworkers so that they can perform certain work from tasks. This fix will only occur on fresh saves. Oh, wait. Why does it then say cottage living and then added a shadow to the cottage living pack icon? Somebody messed that up. Okay, somebody messed that up. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, even this blog post has a bunch of mistakes, like typos so far. I'm picturing people like working so frantically that they cannot catch these things. For rent. Lines will no longer appear on Sim's arms while either wearing the stacked pocket shirt or stacked pocket shirt if nails are also equipped. Very interesting. I feel like this type of thing only happens with CC. High school years. The corn dog food object is no longer using a block model, which appeared as invisible in the live version of the game. This also fixes the related issue where it didn't appear in preview UI images. Right. Telling me we have invisible corn dogs? Okay, life and death. House parties and spooky parties have been added as viable options for the bucket list goal. I want to throw the most bizarre costume party of all time. Yay, this is good. This is good. That's kind of crazy that spooky parties weren't already a part of that. But it's nice that they added house parties. That seems handy. The ingest ambrosia interaction is now available to Ghost Sims when ambrosia was made by Sims from another household. This was preventing Sims who were in the Reaper career from eating ambrosia. I wonder why they had it like this initially. I'm assuming that maybe it was as like a safety net, like maybe to not have a bunch of Ghost Sims accidentally eating ambrosia, because there's more likelihood for it being like maybe a mistake or like autonomous if it's ambrosia made from another household and not your current household. But interesting to see how this plays out in game. My wedding stories. We fixed an issue where the exchange vows interaction could become grayed out on the wedding arch, even though the necessary Sims were present for the ceremony. Okay. Realm of Magic. All variant textures display the logo of the bottle properly on the classic apothecary cabinet. This doesn't seem like a necessary thing to me. Seasons. Children and teens can now donate on the computer when in the Scouts after school program. That is nice. It's nice, but it's interesting because I don't think that children necessarily should be allowed to just, you know, use the credit card, household credit card to donate. But I guess it makes sense if they're in the Scouts program. Vampires. Non-vampire Sims will no longer autonomously eat plasma fruit salad. Why? Why would my human Sim eat plasma fruit salad? Please. Multiple packs. And I think this is the last section. Yes, it is. We fixed an instance of save corruption that was resulting in error code blah, 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 blah. There was a clone Sim in this save game that has a household with a status of none in our code. We fixed it so if a household is in this state, it will no longer crash the game upon trying to load. This is good. This is good. We love fixes related to crashes. Absolutely. We fixed an issue where sand sculptures were auto-generating on beaches when it rained a lot. This is still occurring if the weather machine is being used by the player, but we have a fix planned for that instance in an upcoming patch. Okay. Wait, what do you mean upcoming patch? Excuse me, but I don't want 2 updates in December. Is that what this means? That you're going to do a patch aside from this laundry list? Sims who dislike mischief or singing will no longer autonomously do mischievous behaviors or sing. I'm dead. The way that some of these are so silly. The police station, Foxbury Commons, and other work computers are now fixable after they've been broken. Okay, that is frustrating that was happening. The Tomarani introduction will now fulfill the Greek coworker task in the doctor career. Okay, great. Such a simple thing. Fixed an issue with temporary stays where certain Sims couldn't be invited to stay over from a residential rental lot. Ooh. Okay, so that was the last one. And now this is kind of like a sneak peek into what they are working on for the next update, which here they state January base game update. I don't know if this means that this will be like a whole nother laundry list because they said Q1 in the beginning of this blog post, so that's a little bit unclear. But let's take a look at this anyways. We've confirmed that the makeup category for toddlers is currently working live, but it requires custom content to appear. We're still looking into reports that it stopped working after the business and hobbies release, and that there may have been non-CC assets before, so we'd appreciate any screenshots or clues you can share to help us figure it out. What makeup is there even for toddlers? I guess there's none, and that's why it's saying it requires custom content to appear. I'm not sure. I've never tried to put makeup on my toddler, so I don't know. We were able to load these saves using our memory boost feature, so it feels like a promising lead, or in some cases, a fix for PC players. However, we're still in the process of testing this against different hardware scenarios. Okay, this one needs more context. They linked the forums, so I'm assuming that if you click into the forums, it gives you more context. But for most of these, we have context just within the bullet point, so I wish they would have given more context to this. So I went ahead and I clicked into these, and they're actually two separate issues, and I'm interested to see why these are linked together. Maybe because they're both related to save files, but one of them is basically console crashing after update 2.13, which was 6 months ago. That is very frustrating. And the second one is corrupted lots disappearing in saves with lots of rental units. And this was posted 10 months ago, which the server error when uploading to the gallery or library is a top community issue, and we're actively working on a fix, though it has proven tricky. Yeah, honestly, I've been having a lot of issues with the gallery lately, and I'm very curious to hear if anybody else has been experiencing it. Essentially, either the gallery takes forever to load, or when it loads, it only shows me a certain amount of entries, and I know there's so much more on the gallery because it used to be loaded. So I don't know if they've just like wiped it a lot or put in certain filters to have it not show a certain amount, like maybe past a certain date, but that doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know why that's happening. First of all, the gallery search function has never been great, right? But I feel like it's worse, dare I say. And also, I feel like the most popular and popular now categories always had so much more things before. Lately, it looks the same as the newest category. So I'm like, what is going on with the gallery? And I don't know if it's just me, if it's an update they pushed to the gallery that I just wasn't paying attention to months ago, but it's very annoying because I feel like I cannot find things that I used to be able to find way easier, especially when I'm looking for something specific, like a bowling alley, an arcade. I mean, when I'm looking for a cinema, like certain things that are more specific than the categories that we have available in the gallery. It's just frustrating because I don't like to build. So I just want to find something in the gallery, put it in my game, and move on with my life. The rest of these are, we've identified the main cause of Sims standing around instead of caring for infants and toddlers and plan to provide an update soon. It's exciting that they're saying they've identified the main cause. Sims using objects obsessively is another issue we're tackling. This is a rather complicated issue to solve that might take some time, but we have some creative solutions we're discussing. This one's a big one. I feel like in general, the way that Sims operate needs to really be investigated. All the Sims in our Sims 4 games are just in desperate need of a declutter coding wise. And then they also say at the bottom here, there's plenty more and at least 6 other issues in our top 10 community issues we want to at least get started investigating. They're all tricky, so thank you for your patience. There's a lot of verbiage here that I feel like if you're not in the forums and like looking at their Discord, you probably would not know what the top 10 are. So I wish they would be a little bit more clear, but I do appreciate this sneak peek into the January update. All right, you guys, so that is it. I am very curious to hear your thoughts, so please share them in the comments. I'm sure it was a strategic decision when they first started planning for these laundry lists to have the first one be a very big update, and then I'm not surprised to see that the next one is literally like a third of the fixes that we had in the first update. I think there was 54 here, or maybe 49. I might have counted the ones for the January update. Either way, 49 to 54 is still a third of 150, or however, it was 150 plus in the last update. So however many it was, it's a considerable decrease. in amount. But I do believe that a lot of these are complicated and hard to fix. And so I appreciate that transparency, and I appreciate the fact that they are releasing another hotfix update literally just a month after they released the last one. I feel like that does kind of show in their actions that they are committed to continuing this. I just don't want to get my hopes up, and we will see what happens in January. If they keep this up month over month, then I'm going to be very impressed. It just almost in my brain feels like, okay, well, when is it going to end kind of thing, or when is it going to become something that they put on the back burner as we have seen them do in other ways. Overall, I feel like there is a decent amount of fixins in here, and I love that we were able to see a couple related to like save file issues, loading in, crashes, etc., things like that. I think those are the most frustrating, and I think that's where I get frustrated also in terms of these laundry lists, because definitely it's very important for us to get fixes related to a sim doing something autonomously that directly like contrasts their personality. But also I think if the game is almost unplayable in other ways, then that kind of takes like a back seat in my priorities personally. But I do understand that they have to do what they can, and that it does make sense to work on some of the smaller issues that are easier to fix while at the same time working on the larger issues. But that's it for our video. If you had stayed till the very end, I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Okay, bye.